I'm Dan. I'm a modular student here. I'm just currently in my stage of MEIR, so my multi-engine instrument rating. The instrument rating allows me to get the rating to be able to fly in cloud or bad weather, such as fog, low cloud, and be able to fly in the airways that the airliners fly in, as they require to be flown via instruments and not visually, because you need to go by reference of waypoints that are put in by your instrument system rather than visual points such as towns. And that's quite a intense stage of the course because you require a lot of concentration and you require a lot of management of your workload and making sure that you're not overloading yourself. You're trying to keep ahead of the aircraft. So I first decided when I wanted to become a pilot when I was about the age of 13. My granddad took me up in a small aircraft, and that's where I sort of fell in love really with aviation. The bug really sort of caught to me, and he also works at a simulator company and managed to get me in the simulators, which was really good as I sort of saw what it was like to fly airliners, and I really thought, you know, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And yeah, that was a weird stage of my life because I really wasn't sure what I was going to be doing, and that really helped cement what I wanted to do. I think the love of aviation comes with sort of the unknown. Everything's always different, and sort of you're always busy doing something. You're not just sitting around. And I like being able to, obviously, the big one is the views. The views are absolutely beautiful. Things that people don't often see once a year, you see pretty much every day, and it's always different, and it keeps you so busy. And I think the passion for flying really sort of comes into handling the aircraft, flying the aircraft, and the satisfaction of actually managing to put an aircraft down on a 1,000-meter, 20-meter wide long strip. It really does become satisfying, and you get a really big sense of achievement when you do that. My training has been really fun. I'd say the thing I enjoyed the most was getting the multi-engine rating, because that, obviously, since a young age, I've just always wanted to fly bigger planes, and stepping into a multi-engine aircraft, that's when you really I realised, wow, I'm actually doing this. This is what I'm going to do. And that's when it really started to hit me that I'm now training for my career. And I thought, the excitement of it was, I can't even explain it. It was just knowing that I was in a multi-engine aircraft and flying a big aircraft that can go higher, faster. It was so exciting at the time, and that's definitely been the favourite part of the flying so far. So the training obviously has been quite intense, as it always is. With COVID, it's been very difficult as well. It's sort of put, obviously, it's hard as it is already, so COVID's really sort of hasn't helped at all. But I think FTA has really helped me, especially with putting us in bubbles and putting on the online courses in the ground school. So I felt really secure and I felt safe here. I'd say that the ground school going online was possibly the hardest bit, because you have to put a lot of effort into that, because no one's monitoring sort of if you're concentrating or not, and it's very easy to sort of just get sidetracked at home or something, and really trying to keep on top of things and making sure that you're focused and you're still sort of retaining the information you're learning, because you're in a comfortable environment. You're not in your uniform, you're not in a classroom. You sort of subconsciously you might be a little bit sort of not paying attention, so it's quite difficult to monitor where I was at, and obviously it was hard for the instructors to help one-to-one, obviously being over Zoom, but they did their best with the situation, especially the fact that staying after classes and stuff, and just a little one-to-one on a couple of questions I maybe didn't understand was really good. So I think the IR has been the hardest part of my training in terms of intensity, and I think that was a time that I started to doubt myself if I was really able to do this. the workload that you have to put into it is really and really intense. And I think that with that sort of, you almost sort of things don't, you stop learning, and you're trying to concentrate on what you're doing. And that's when I thought, do I have the mental capacity to actually deal with this and deal with the situations, especially if an instructor would throw in an emergency. I'd really start to think, oh, do I have the capacity to cope with this? But after a while, I spoke to my instructors and asked what I could do to manage my workload better, and they really helped me trying to get ahead of the aircraft, and making sure that I really was trying to manage my workload even better, give me hints and tips of what to do mentally in my head, to just take a step back and go, you know what, okay, I'll deal with this in this way, this isn't as essential, so I can put that off for a later time in the flight. And that really helped me. But I would say that was the most difficult part of my training with the IR. And they always say that the IR is the most intense part of your training, because that's where your skills are really put to the test, and safety is of paramount, and you've got that in the back of your head, and that's where it really becomes sort of like, yeah, this is serious. So the pandemic's been quite difficult. I've managed to stay motivated through it quite well, I think, by going on social distance walks with some of the people I've met through flight training, who are really nice, and that we've connected so well in a short amount of time. And I think that going on walks really helped, especially after some of the ground school lessons. Going on walks really sort of helped just put that mind at rest and not think about flying for an hour or two, and to just really just relax and just let what happened in the day just sort of settle and process in your brain without you even realising. And having the support of all my friends if I was struggling with something and really not understanding a subject or a certain part of the subject, people really did come together, and that helped me really motivate, sort of push through the ground school, because motivation is so key in ground school, because it is so intense with the information we're being provided in such a short time. And I just think that keeping motivated is just key to being able to actually succeed, because if you're not motivated, nothing will work. And that's definitely how you can keep motivated, by sort of talking to your friends and just asking for help when you need.